I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTA Review. Today is March 25th, Wednesday, 2026. Hope you had a good day today. So, try to make it quick. We did discuss a lot of things. Obviously, standard consolidation. We did have that big push up from that BS move up from Trump and all that. And then some will consider a displacement. Some will just say it's a lower, coming up for a lower high, which I believe so. Unless we're going to see some real follow through, I don't see that still happening. This was still one of the ideas that was not out the picture where we came down. I made this video on the 23rd, by the way. Today is 25th, right? So coming back in here and then pushing up for a lower high, depending on where it went, and then still rolled over. The other understanding from being bullish is pulling back here, lower high, very similar to that one, and then pulling back again and then shooting up. This and this can still be in the cards because if I did this, this ends up real being the final retracement and then that final lower high and then roll over. So that's why we had that issue of having very similar ideas. And then this here, which I almost S&P did this, the coming up first, then retracing back in from the buyers here and then pushing back up. So because of this issue, and people want to say that it's the, it's the new Fed chair that we're waiting for. We're waiting for across seas for them to be done, and going back and forth, all this dumb shit. So I'm still calling these ideas without any of that nonsense in between, right? After a big move like that, that's why I was saying, it doesn't. I don't really want to trade. It's not favorable as far as it trending because of this A, big move. B, when you get this retracement, they're going to go sideways for some transition days, blah, 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 right? So stay in the range of it because the weekly range has already been printed. But if we look at this bear chart here and we understand, well, these were all lows. See all these guys I'm showing you are lows here, and then now on this side you get highs. See that? So for me, I'm looking at this as a logical, just basic resistance, right? Which I don't really trade support resistance, but it's just the point of the bare naked chart. Like even if we look in this today, I'm sorry, this was supposed to be on a 5-minute. Oh, it is on a 5-minute. Okay. When they shot it up yesterday, you'll see that it's hard to fit all this in here. You'll see that we have all this this major high here that they stuck like a flagpole. You think it's a bullish flagpole, right? Bull flag, but generally this will probably fail. If we go back to April 7th, it's a similar idea to it. But I think it's just too early for the prices just to keep pushing up, as this whole longer kind of conversation we have. But notice that if we look at this example here, and this is the point of me saying all this, was at first come down and then come back up. However many drives it does, however many bullshit fucking, speakers that they develop here, pretty much, okay, that the ultimate goal was to just still come back and then roll over, right? So that might be still generally in the cards, but if you take a look, like if I was to put the 1 minute and put the time, the markings on the chart, you'll see that we don't take out the previous day's high again, right? Which would have been right here. This is the previous day's high right here when they shot up for that, right? So when you see a break in here, where do you see the break here? Like, well, we pushed up, so technically it's still going up in a way, right? And here it's still going up here, breaks that low. Okay, we're not going up. All right, well, they just wanted to sweep that liquidity. Then it's going to push up and make a new high because it should be now making a new high. And then it doesn't make a new high. And then it makes a new low. And it's like, oh, okay. All right, well, now this is just support. Right, this could be just support. These lines right here, these guys right here. up to here. Then it's going to push up. Oh, yeah, it's support. It's support. It's going up. Oh, it doesn't go up. Again, you have another failed high. And you're making new lows. So then the structure starts to show you that, okay, well, now, okay, well, this was just support right here. So now we're going to, oh, shit, well, fuck, they came again. They made another low. Oh, shit, well, this is the real lower high from here and all this nonsense. Well, if you see, this is a nice sell model possible, right? And then when you get this break here, well, okay, if you were to say, well, this is real tricky now and, you know, I have structure going down, I would expect a lower high to then make another lower low. Well, pops up right here. See that? That's a lower high. It doesn't keep going here again, right? And then what? You see this fake channel here? And these are all fake channels. And then slithers right there. Breaks. Happened here, and it happened even there. But let's go to 1 minute. And you'll see right there. A trend, little phantom trend line right there. So it crosses over right there. See this? See how it leaks? So it ran up into this area. See the price how it runs right into this area. So this whole area here, let's just call this you know, range high, resistance high, premium area, and then let's call this area, I'll do it on this chart. Let's just call this down here is support or discount levels and so on, right? So we're bouncing in between these ideas and levels, and then you'll see how we end up, you know, breaking right over through and then using first imbalances as resistance. So let's put the chart back on real quick. And immediately you're going to see things that is just not coincidence. Immediately right here on the higher time frame, you can see that the weekly gaps are using that as resistance algorithmically. First imbalance of the month in this big green, and then this guy from here. This was last week's, remember that same, didn't have any bearish body on there, and I said we're coming back to it from the first place. So notice how we're tagging it and there's no bodies inside of that right now. I'm not saying we can't still go up. I'm just sharing with you, you know, this observation. So and this bearish imbalance in control kind of popping up. No bodies really closing above that 50 of it, except for right there, right? And then you could see no bodies now touching that gap here. And then we have yesterday's opening gap and today's opening gap together. And when you normally see this, let me go to a smaller time frame. When you see this, you're going to see that we're going to be constantly referencing this area. It's like a black hole. It's like a magnet that it just keeps drawing to it. I talk about this sometimes on the channel as well, right? But notice how we skipped. We didn't reach Monday's first imbalance, but they got real close right there on purpose because they didn't want to hit it. So now they're building liquidity. So either, talking in general, if we're going to be really bullish, you know, they're saying, okay, well, we're going to get the prices up here as much as we can, create failed lower highs type of thing, and then we're going to run it. Now it's real smooth here, right? And then when we come back up, we'll tag this guy and say, hi, we're back here. That's what the algorithm will actually say to itself. Okay? Might happen here. We don't know. But, I mean, and then from that case, coming back down on the lower side, what do we have here? We have the previous opening range gap, and we have this current week, this current day's opening gap. So when you look at this price at 9:30, you're literally inside the middle of the speaker here, right? Into these highs and lows right here, right? So the sequence begins. So shoots up one, goes back into the gap, makes a lower high, squeezes as much as it could, and pops up. All right. And then I'm going to also be using this first imbalance here from Friday. So Monday and Friday. This, don't worry about this for now. So that's probably Thursday or something. So who cares? Monday. This is Friday. That's Monday. Where's Tuesday? Well, Tuesday's down here. So we ain't there yet. I'm assuming that we're going to be leading to that right now. Not this second, but like in the next, near future, right? To come back to reference this. So let's go back to the price action. So we shot up to almost reference the Monday, right? And then remember, Friday is the one that's expanded all the way back here. Okay, let's now talk about the video. Don't try. I know this. You might think it's a lot of shit in the chart, this and that. Just give me a second, right? Lot of wicks and no bodies here on the 4 hour here, especially. And then, okay, so opening range gap is here. Do I understand that it's going to be shaky? Yes. Do I know that, hey, you don't need to trade it at all? B, that we're going to shake out. So in a consolidation or shakeout situation, a sequence is generally going to happen, right? So we're going to go up, then come back down. Again, this is the first imbalance. By the way, this is the first imbalance for today. And this is also the same first imbalance. I just happened to make to skip this area so it's not like one solid area. I wanted you to see it reverse from here. And then from here, it just continues. It's like if I was to just drag it out. So now you see that, and then you'll see that first imbalance from Friday and this one. Watch how this starts. Watch how it starts moving around here. With this, also we have the present day gap. So, and the midnight level is in this blue green right here. You can see it right there. So now that I mention all this, from being naked chart to having it here, you're going to see how it's running through this area. So pop up into this gap here of the week, last week, go through. So reverses here. That's an inversion. So it closes below, immediately breaks. Where's it going? It's taking out the lows here and squeezing as much as they can from Asia. The question is Asia going to get taken out? Yeah, most likely, but it won't happen on the first rip. They do it later, right? Because then whoever is selling from here, they're holding the bag to take out that low. So they buy above it. And it was a divergence because NASDAQ and fucking, not NASDAQ, S&P, where'd it go? S&P, I see it here. We had a higher low here, and then they took theirs out right here. When they took that out, we then had a lower low with Dow and then another higher low here. That was the nice buy up. Okay. And then and at night and at 9:30, you can see that with that fake pump first, we make a lower high here and they have higher highs. So again, this is where the switcheroos happen, where the sequences happen. So sells off here. So you have the divergence with the shit that I talk about in this area, and you have that inversion of that candle, and then the last candle being respected. So shoots straight through. It's going to take out the previous low, coming into the 50 level of the opening range gap. So stretching back here, inducing people to buy here. Buys up. Okay, so we took out people to the left, we come back up. Where do we go? There's a lot of shit I can say, and you think I might be making this really complicated. I could just make this video 5 minutes and just say, or not even make the video and say, oh, we just consolidated today. No, well, that's true, but take a look. We come to the 50, we pop all the way back up to where we just fucking sold from, right? I got this projection right here, and you can see the 101.5 is coming right back into this area. Remember when I had this shit naked, I was showing you like that fake, like that general like zone, if you will, of price action, right? Because it's just trying to build liquidity on the top and the bottom, and then also trying to confuse you. So we know that it references back to these areas, right? So I have a balance right there, and I have one right there. And while we're popping up here, it's in the back. They're in the background. But while they're popping up here, we're using it as stepping stones to pop up the mountain, right? And with these 3 consecutive down candles, when we go above this last down, which is the 10 o'clock, you're going to see that we pop above it and retrace back in. It's a beautiful entry and buy right there. And then if you use the 3 consecutive candles, you'll see that we pop up and then we respect the top of it. Also in that is that inversion right here. This is where a sell model will reverse, or a buy model will reverse and go back up, right? And you'll see I have the lines drawn there, and then you can see us using that right there, right? And then after the 50, they're coming back up into the 1 and they're playing around here. Higher highs and higher lows. Look how it's still working. Okay, now we're back into this first imbalance. We should have kept going here, and now we're not. We're going sideways. Okay, no big deal. Oh, boom, we hit this. Oh, we wanted to test this first. This imbalance that was being used here should be used as support to go up. Oh, and it does not. So it breaks from here. Literally, you have a couple warning signs. A, you're back up here. B, overbought on this situation of the 1 minute, whatever. That's a side note. But C, you do break a low here that makes that high in microstructure. And then you'll see that we also are now underneath that first imbalance. That is sign 3. You should not see that. And then watch the candles. They start to wither here. Boom, right here. This solid close candle is another break of a structured low. Plus, this is going to be used as an inversion. And it immediately does. Notice how this candle, this 1107, sells from it exactly at that 50. See how it pops up for a second? You can see that, right? So the point of me saying this is that, okay, well, we're playing around. You're gonna see also, besides the top and the bottom of this range, you're gonna see that the center would be also a mean reversion. So we're gonna be consolidating in that mean reversion. So they're gonna reference back these levels. Where is that? Well, the 930 is also a very powerful level here. So you're like, well, dude, this is so many levels. Well, notice how they got this little block here of just the center, and this is how they're using it. You can see that the previous settlement was here. The previous day's gap was there. Also, Friday's gap is there. So it's all these. It's that, and that, and that. So those 3-4 things right there. Notice how we're fucking around with that. That's fine. But it expands outside, comes back now to where? It comes to the bottom 25%, squeezes more of the motherfucker who pushed by when it just literally shot up. And I could have pushed by if I saw this personally. And when it was shooting up, I'm just laughing because I'm not going to necessarily chase you. I have no problem following you, but chasing is different and the day is done. But plenty of people bought this. So they're coming back for that, right? You can see it. I'm just using this as a projection well beyond the 3.5 to 4. So, then oversold. Oh, okay. So if that's the case, soon as this look how this candle pops back in, pops out, pops back in. Boom. That's a buy right there. Beautiful. Coming right back where? Look at the first imbalance. Well, let's just say the 930, right? Today's gap, the 930, and then notice how that first imbalance from Friday. Yes. I said it in the beginning of the videos for you to remember that I'm coming right back to it. That look how we're sitting up here, up and down. Look how when it broke here, look how when it slithered. I call it slithering. That's a low. Underneath it, boom. It's now selling. It became a sell, a resistance, a task to say, all right, go to the 50 of the opening range gap, guys. From this opening 50 of opening range gap 50, I want you to go back to the first imbalance of today. All right, guys, now that we're back up here and we hit this gap, all right, cool, we're there. I want you to come and take out that 50 and go to the 25. All right, so when this is naked, you might not know that, but you still might know. You still might understand that. When it comes up here, it sells. When it comes down here, buy. I'm not talking supply demand shit. Forget that fucking, basic shit. I'm talking logical, because when manipulation areas are happening in these areas, notice how we're coming a little bit higher. Remember, we're coming a little bit lower, and we're still back in here. What did we do? Well, we squeeze them out, and then with the following squeezes up here, and then down here squeezes, right? So consolidation, right? We're breaking down a consolidation, right? So comes down. Okay, guys, shoot right back to the first imbalance of Friday. Well, go back to 930, but we're going to go back to the first imbalance of Friday specifically. Why is that first imbalance of Friday perfectly there? You think that's coincidence? This right here? This right here? This right here, look how it bounced from here. Underneath it sold from here. Boom, quickly. Shot straight to it. Look at the fucking body. Perfect. Look. So it said, come right back here. We don't want you to hit the 930. We can't constantly let you just hit the 930. So what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit higher because our first imbalance from Friday, we're going to say to go there just to make it look. Oh, and what do we have to the left? This up candle. Oh, just, that's a supply area. That's what people think. It's not. All right. This is just all the algorithmic levels that it's going to. Shoot right back down to the 50. Once it got here, shoot right back down to the 50. So while I have this down candle projected, you can see 3.5 to 4 is right there. Look at this, 3.5 to 4. Fucking sick, right? You notice how I'm measuring that candle. You might be, oh man, this is overkill. This is so okay. I can catch plenty of trades today, knowing this information, right? It's like when it's sitting here, it's screaming buy. When it's sitting here and it's breaking, it's screaming sell. When it's sitting fucking right here, it's screaming buy. When it just sat here, it's screaming sell. Yeah, you might want it to keep going lower. It doesn't matter. If you fucking take the profit, like some type of fucking trend line phantom stop loss, I'm going to do this. Just anytime this motherfucker breaks, I'm taking out the profit. It don't matter. Right? I'm just taking the profit. Let's just say I was just selling this guy. I'm going to do the same thing here. Nah, you might think I'm crazy. I'm just going to take the profit. As soon as it breaks, I'm taking that motherfucker. Could you have found a day trade today? Well, yeah. All right. Oh, this guy's doing trend lines. No, I don't do that. Even if you did this. Notice how they rush. Right? Not coincidence. So anyways, back from that first imbalance to the Friday, then back to the 50. Squeeze everybody in there. Nice little imbalance. I'm not even going to highlight it. I'm projecting the bodies here of these consecutive 4 candles. Look at the 1 to 1.5. Stops at the -1. And you have this balanced price range with, people making decisions on quick movement here. See that? 50% though. The whole if this was naked, there would be the 50% of this opening range gap here. But then you'll be like, oh, well, it's because of these lows over here. Well, you might not see that if I had the chart on. But then you might, if you didn't have anything on the chart and you just had it naked, this is what you would think is happening. But in reality, they're hitting these levels to the tick. So when they hit these specific levels that I'm dealing with, notice how all of these most likely reverse from these areas in some form of fashion, right? Okay, so comes down here, and then I'm just using this. They break up, channel up here. And then 1 to 1.5. Oh, but what's more important? Come higher high, higher low. Coming right back to the 25 using the midnight level. The midnight level is coupled with the 25. This is also very key in this conversation. We're actually fucking sitting on it right now. I didn't plan that one. No. But what I was about to say, the point is of what I was about to say is that it's going to be a very you could say problematic for price also, yeah. And this coupling of the previous day gaps and these, fucking first balances, but whatever. But also could have been used for decision making. That's a nice buy, right? Sitting on it, yeah. So what do I do? Projection here, and look where it snaps. Boom! Oh, out of all the fucking places on earth of this chart, you're saying to me that this is just look. I'm not even showing you to the left. You're telling me that the most random place of it stopping here is going to be at that first imbalance. So if we turn everything off the chart, someone's going to say, oh, it's a supply area. That's your real supply. Right? The supply of it going to sell from there. But that's algorithmic. You notice this now. You see that? You see this? So, okay, phantom trend line, fake trend line here. We smack it. Look, the language here is very key of the candlesticks. Even if you didn't have this, if I had this naked on the chart and it wasn't anything on the chart, well, the price action says it reached up here, and then look how big this wick is on this candle. Half of it gain is lost. What is the psychology of this since we know that it's hunting for liquidity and things like that. What do we think? Well, it's stretched because it wanted to get this motherfucker right here. Why? Because this is a break. If it's a break, it's a break. Look at the break. Look, you can see it break there. And if you didn't see it there, that's fine. It's still pretty tight and still pretty close right there, right? And then guess what happens? Boom, you break again. You make another low. See that shit right there? And then it retraces. Generally speaking, if this is going to be a change of direction and a reversal, end of that channel, we'll call it, a new channel will begin. And you will expect to see lower highs on the right side of the curve. Notice you see that. Oh, boom, right away, immediate feedback. Lower high. Easy to sell. That was not hard if you are following this understanding of just experienced price action, right? Well, guess what? It comes back to it. But they put the first imbalance there of today to reference that. Look where the sell happened at 50% there. We hit it again. They have someone doesn't know that that's happening. Someone just thinks, oh, they're coming right back to this supply area. Right? Okay. If I move forward and go back to the characteristics of these candles, big wick. That was very hard for you to sell in there. That was not fair. Those are algorithmic fucking manipulation pieces of price action when they don't let you get in it. Here's an example again here with these two wicks. If you're watching price, comes back down, back to the daily, playing around 930, pops back up, shoots right back up. See how this candle shoots all the way up? Because they know you can read fucking candlesticks. And how is that possible? From experience. But because of that candle, what does it do? You already have a feeling that we're bearish. Aren't we initially bearish, generally? Then it comes down. You can see that it's becoming a perfect fucking trend line too. But it shoots all the way up because they knew that someone sold from here. As soon as it crossed over this candle like that, people are pushing sell. Wham! Trying to get them. And when they brought the price back down with a big stupid wick like that, that told me that we were still selling for sure. That actually gave me the direction again for switching back from this to make a new channel down. Why? Because the easy buyers. Why? Because we're in a fucking consolidation, right? And so-called waiting for, for the world to get its act together. Okay, right? So this wick, so strong, comes back. Look what they do again. Wham! They make sure, because guess what? When this big ass wick showed itself, that's showing major fucking selling, right? So what does it do? People are not pushing sell. As soon as it closed, they're pushing sell here. They're pushing, because now they know that it's rolling. Their dick's hard. All right? Excuse my language if you're a woman watching, but you get it, right? They're expecting it to just run right to it because they're so horny for selling. Guess what it does? Wham! Rams it real quick to squeeze everyone in. And these wicks and these trading, this is high frequency trading algorithms scalping and selling and getting involved from just structure, from whatever. Pops again, and when it did that and it came back into the 930 level, now I just said, okay, well, I'm going to wait for it to peep up one more time. What does it do? Peeps back up, pretending like it was going to buy. And now what we're really doing is look at the 15-minute. We're losing bodies inside that first imbalance of Friday and anything above 930. Look. Here you see this little price action on the 1 minute, but on the 15-minute becomes no more bodies. See that? So that was the high of that little 15-minute candle that pushed up one more time, and it left it. Once it left it here, look at here. Look at the language. Remember, we've been playing around that bitch all this time. It's not random shit. Guess what? Leaves. Right there, this candle right here. See this candle? Right there. See when it hits there? You're like, oh, dude, it's sitting in the middle of it. Oh, shit. Look at the down candle. We cross right back in. Look like you're about to sell, ain't it? You push and sell. Oh, it keeps going. Oh, it's already breaking in. Now you're getting lower highs here real quick before it drops off. Huh? Keeps going. See this? Underneath the daily gap. This is what I would expect if it was to come back down. I would come underneath these algorithmic levels, use it as resistance. If there's nothing on the chart, you thought that was a support, and now it's a resistance. But there's a fucking daily gap level there to create that fucking structure. And this is a lower high, okay? You say what you want, but that was based off of this crazy. Look at my chart. It looks fucking crazy, don't it? You got all this shit here. How the fuck do you see it working? Right? Okay. Pushes back down. Well, just squeeze that guy there. Again, and I just measured this stupid candle. That stupid candle is part of this show. And then we get back down to 2.5. Oh, that's a 50. And then we'll see what we do here. Playing around that midnight level for a second. Move forward. I really wanted to teach today, huh? What's it called? 30 minutes. VIX going sideways. I'm not going to get into that. You can go see the highs and lows of that. I'll be here fucking forever. That's why my videos got longer, because I started introducing more stuff on the screen. But even though I knew about this, dollar holding there beautifully at that 50%. I changed this, by the way. At the time, I literally had it like crossing the whole area, and I expected to come into that. Some measure of me using this gap here with this candle and that gap. That's a suspension block right here. So it's a bullish. For being bullish, you want to see no bodies in this bottom half. Now it's drawn correctly, so to speak. Last down candles here, and then bodies are holding, and it's pushing back up. So you would think that would continue us to be bearish still, and that's why I was saying about selling at that 930 level just a moment ago, right? That's the whole point. I'm actually in that sell. I'm going to see if I can keep going all the way. But talked about this here, talked about this there, and then when we were up here, remember at the first imbalance of today up top, we had a divergence here. So you're going to say, well, that high didn't take out that high. And yes, it did not. And it's real close. But if this is a divergence using the bodies. Meaning, if you look at, not the bodies, but the wicks. Well, yes, the bodies, this price action. See how there's bodies up here inside the wicks? Well, there's no bodies here with S&P and Dow inside these wicks. See that? So that's a divergence. You've probably never seen this on the internet before either, right? And then that coupled with that last moment of a higher high here with Dow, that's when we sold off from that first imbalance today and didn't keep going. And once we got down here, it just, nothing, pretty much ran right through. Real big momentum. So you don't even need any type of divergence. It's just the strength of it trying to hurry back up and get these sellers, because we're the monkey on their back, remember? And as a mean reversion, remember back to that speaker conversation, where is the center? And then you'll notice how this trade happened, and and then selling off from it. Remember that sell here, this happening here, this sell here, this conversation here. Notice how it's in the center of, generally speaking, the fucking big ass stupid speaker to the left of you. Right? So, am I talking too much? And then moving forward, and Dow just, kind of going sideways. Looking like a lower high, but it's getting dangerous. The more little lower highs we keep building, we can run that shit though, and take a big beating for the sellers. But I will say, looking at I'm looking at the forex factor here. What's today? Wednesday, right? Tomorrow's Thursday. We have unemployment claims tomorrow. Yeah, that should get shit going. That being said, here, I think the unemployment claims should be way more than what they're gonna say. So should fucking sink price, but that's on them. They're probably gonna confuse everybody by selling, and then they're gonna still push it up for one more fuck, and then come back down. But let me move forward. So at the moment, there's no bearish. Remember, I keep saying this. There's no bearish body here, so completely empty. This is why I'd like for price to come back down, but they could use this as that final low to before pushing up. So not helpful, just going sideways. Here's a pump dump, classic. This is beautiful, a lot more prettier than, I mean, eh, yeah, this is more prettier, I think, because it's a solid push up and then it's lower low, lower high, right? And then yeah, this comes back up, but I mean, the goal was you're gonna come back in here. You're gonna instead of just selling right there down, they're gonna pop up once first, right? So we got something similar, right? And then same with them, you know, um, using this bearish balance as hopefully I don't look at this as a wick and come right back into it. But this, I'm trying to see if this will become resistance. It probably won't, but thinking out loud for a second. Again, no bodies here. That shows good to make another low. But here also a couple drives and then dumps right back. Kind of going sideways still as well. Not much. It didn't leave us with much after this closing. Another indecisive day as well. Again, they're trying to use that understanding. So it's just kind of a shitty place to be at this point. I mean, that's why I said originally on Monday that this was going to be tough. I'm not really interested. I'd rather wait till I see it, kind of doing this or doing this, right? You're caught in the middle. You don't want to diddle in the middle, they say, right? We still have also this projection here. We came into the 2 to 2.5 here. I expect them to maybe still get this volume imbalance that's in there if you've been following the video. And then, come expand for a new low and get this guy here. Or we'll see what we do there. And then there's something else. Was there something else I was going to say? So now we have 2 inside days. Yesterday was an inside day from that big stupid day Monday. Another inside day, another inside day. Right? So do you see us taking out the high or the low, or even, well, in this case, you might be able to take both. It won't be that hard after tomorrow's conversation, but, can't call it. Still can't call it here. I mean, but are we bearish? Yeah, we are bearish. So, and then I also talked about this. Oh, by the way, when I freaked out yesterday, it's because I had this stupid shit on. I didn't even realize it, bro. I was freaking out. I was like, dude, I was like, they're scamming me. They know that I know the algorithm. And then if I started freaking out live on the camera, it's so stupid. But whatever. But I was like, really thought I had to redo this. I was like, dude, what the fuck? I was pissed. So sorry for that little blooper. But if you look, I've been highlighting. This is the first imbalance of September 25. So, and this is coupled with them. So I feel like this is a strong area for them to draw back to. I said that on March 25th. Yeah. So I don't know. It looks like it's wilting. Strong push back up. I don't think they need to, bro. I mean, I just still think we're bearish, and we'll see here. What else I need to say? Because I know I'm missing something that's fire. But NVIDIA popping up a little bit more, just to squeeze out some of the more of the breakout traders here. Notice how there's no body here. There was a gap here, and then there's only a bearish body. So they're coming to retest that area. Do they want to lay a body on it? I don't know. But if you made a low and then you made a lower high, this is very, this is very common, I guess, or it's pretty, it's expecting, it's obvious. I don't know, whatever you want to fucking say, but so yeah, I mean, I'm still literally, it's still either this rolling like this with this option, and even though I drew that pretty ugly, or this, and you're like, that's not helpful, bro. I know, but general speaking, will I find a trade? Well, I did find, I'm in a trade now, but I don't know if I'm going to keep holding it. There's no follow through, but you know, if I get out and I get back in with tomorrow situation, is there going to be a trade selling from here to here? Right. So all this, we still don't know what happened, but if by the time it got here, can I take some type of lower high swing here and then roll over? And then can I also do that here? Can I, we did this, we popped up and then we came back and we're sitting in this shit. Well, does tomorrow show me a rate and buy back up or a higher low up here to then push up? I don't know, but we're just talking, right? So how can, this is just, I'm just explaining how someone can be involved. Now we're just sitting here. So I'm in the trade right here. 930 is literally my entry sell right here. So, I don't think I need to say anything else. 40 fucking minutes, dude. Even when I could have made it a little long, shorter, I still made it long. I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something? And then you can really gauge using this will be the last thing I say. I guess the gauging the previous opening range gaps, you know, as the price is down here, it's using this bottom portion as support. As we pop up higher here, notice that we're not in this bottom quadrant from Tuesday anymore. We come and we tag it. Look at the, you know, I'll make this video much longer if I start discussing all the, you know, this 50%. Look to the right here. See how we kind of using that as support. Notice how today's lows here in Asia and pre-London here. Notice how they're sitting at that 50% of Friday. I'm sorry, of Mondays. Of Mondays. See that? Very close. They're not perfect, but they're very close. And then if you look at 50% of Tuesday's opening range gap, look to the right. Look to the right. Notice how we are tagging that shit, right? So they're using that. And then if we're bearish, I would not want to see any more bodies sitting up in this top quadrant. Like right now, we're at that top quadrant, but right now there's no more bodies here, right? Now it's selling off. I'm just giving an example. Like this is in a perfect world, I would want to see that algorithmic delivery come now to this 50. From this 25, now come to this 50. And then look to your left. Look to your left. The current day 50 is also the 50 of fucking yesterday's opening range gap. This also shows you of possibilities of more consolidation. People, how do you know it's going to consolidate? How do you know it's going to be ugly? Well, these are also tips to know that you will see that. But once we get to this 50, it might make a lower high in between this quadrant and then sell off. Let me put an eighth here even. I won't even get into that. And then now I want you to go right back to this 25 here, right? And then eventually is to seal that, for example. And then, you know, people will think, it came right back to the sealment of today. And maybe it buys from here. Maybe it doesn't. But the point is, we come right back into Tuesday's first imbalance. We might use that as resistance and fucking roll right through the lows there. I'm just talking. It's literally dead center again, but we are bearish. So notice the bodies. I don't want to see, even if the price ran up in here one more time, like on this upper quadrant, I would want to see no bodies in it. You know, and very soon I don't want to see, after it does what it does here, I don't want to see bodies in this upper half. Right, so that's going to be gauging about where the price is going. You guys take care and have a God bless day.